years back, we in HR we started using different technology. So in terms of the shift in technology, what I see is that these days, I think as an HR, we need to familiarize ourselves with analytics because we have a lot of data points in terms of why people resign, what kind of profile that we should be bringing into the organization, this and that, right? So as an HR, we can no longer be operate as a administrative department, but we need to be more strategic using the data point to present to the management that these are the data point that is telling us this what can drive employee in terms of the retention or like in terms of the attrition. Then we need to speak the language to the business by using the technology.
It's very nice meeting you again. Last time we met during the HR conference.
Yes.
Yeah, and you did a great job there.
Thank you.
To the HR community, over 100 people, and on social media, thousands of people watching your presentation.
Yes.
And that add a lot of value to the HR and business community.
Yes.
And today we really appreciate your time again.
My pleasure. Yeah.
So can you tell us, something about yourself if you wish?
Yeah. Hi everyone, my name is Laura and currently I'm a Chief Human Resource Officer for Cambodia, Laos, Myanmar at Prudential. I have been in Prudential for over 5 years now and currently I'm based out of Cambodia.
Laura, what inspired you to take the HR role?
To start with my background, when I finished my high school, my mom, she was a teacher, so she wanted me to become a teacher. So she asked me to join this education university, and I joined it. But I never thought of becoming a teacher. But of course, as an Asian kid, right, you have to follow what your parents ask you to do. So I studied education for 4 years, and after that, I didn't know what to do after graduation. Of course, I was given a role as a teacher, but I don't see myself working as a teacher. Then I think about it, then I was like, what am I good at and what I love to do? I love to work with people, but that time, many years back, like 16 or 20 years back, there was no HR role in my country because I'm originally from Myanmar. And I applied for a role in one of the organization, and coincidentally, my boss asked me to work in international relation department, and that's how I started in HR.
That's great.
Yes.
Great. When did you start your HR? You look very young.
I look young, but I'm not young. Yes. So I started HR since I started my first career. Of course, as I mentioned earlier, I didn't know that that time there was HR exit. But the more I work in that function, I was like, this is something that I really love because HR mainly deal with the people and you do something good for the people in the organization. So I started learning HR courses from UK and I have been doing like constant lifelong learning since then, and I climb up this corporate ladder. So yes, throughout my journey, yes, I have taken different roles in different countries.
That's great.
Yeah.
Working with people, it must be a lot of challenges,
yes,
right?
Yes.
Because culture, cultural differences, and people are different. The way of people thinking are different.
Yes.
So you take the role as a regional HR director for Cambodia, Laos, and Myanmar for Prudential.
Yep.
What challenge you face and how you manage cultural differences and also manage their different performance across the region?
Yes. Just like Bong mentioned, right? When I first took on this role, I thought these 3 countries are very similar. We are very like developing country, and culturally we are also very similar. But when I go into the role, there are differences. We are working, people mindset, the background, experience, right? So if you ask me how I manage these 3 countries, of course I have to travel a lot to get to know the people in person, and I have to spend like one-on-one time with each one of my team member, and I get to know them, like what is their role, what are they good at, and what are the areas for improvement. And along the way, I would say there are different set of challenges come with the role, but it's also exciting to learn different people matter, people challenges, and how I can play a role in the organization.
That's amazing. So roughly, in terms of population,
Yes.
the three countries
Yes.
you cover under you directly and indirectly.
Yes.
How many of them?
Currently, we have total around 1,000 employees.
That's amazing.
Yes,
right?
yes.
There must be a lot of challenges.
Yes.
Would you see driving the performance from one country to another country would be the same method you applied or different method from the corporate entity?
I would say as a corporate entity, of course, we have a very standard process that we go through in terms of the performance. We not only measure the people like performance in terms of what, we also measure how people drive this performance in terms of behavior. So that is a major core performance management system that we use. But when we talk about like country specific, different country have different way of driving the performance, right? Some people are a bit slower in terms of the pace. Some country, the pace is quite faster. So we have to adjust according to the population and employee segment. Yes.
So technologies moving very fast, right?
Yes.
We're starting from being very first time non-technology, we focus on the traditional way. But currently, the technology, especially AI and so forth. But how would you see the challenge ahead for HR in terms of leveraging technology?
Yes, as Bong aware, right, when we started like in HR, it was very administrative, like very manual way of managing people matter, right? But along the way over like a few years back, we in HR, we started using different technology, like we put people like profile in a platform, different platform, right? In our organization, we mainly use Workday. We call it My HR, where we store the employee profile and all the HR function process are run in that platform. So in terms of the shift in technology, what I see is that these days, I think as an HR, we need to familiarize ourselves with analytics because we have a lot of data points in terms of why people resign, what kind of profile that we should be bringing into the organization, this and that, right? So as an HR, we can no longer be operate as an administrative department, but we need to be more strategic using the data point to present to the management that these are the data point that is telling us this what can drive employee in terms of the retention or like in terms of the attrition. Then we need to speak the language to the business by using the technology.
That's great.
Yeah.
So that's about science, right?
Yes.
Without
yes.
science,
Without science,
without science, decision making will be very risky, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's great. People talk about the Gen Z,
Yes,
the Gen Y, Gen Z, and Gen Z is very mobile, very movable and very versatile as well. And how would you engage, because the Gen Z in Cambodia might be a little different from the Gen Z in Myanmar, maybe.
Yes.
So how you leverage the technology, to understand the behavior and keep them moving, keep them driving, keep them performing in the company direction?
Yes, that's a very good question, Bo. Currently, if we look at our workforce, right, we are operating with multi-generation, right? So there are at least 2 or 3 generations that we are working together, especially when we talk about Gen Z. They born with the internet, where we don't have that. We only get access to it when we become adult, right, in our university life or in a working life. So for Gen Z, even though it may be different depending on the country, but what common is that because in the internet age, they come with the instant gratification. So for them, it's no longer about salary. Of course, salary is important. For them, it's more about personalization, right? After COVID, they expect the employer to give flexibility, like hybrid working arrangement. They want the employer to instant gratification to recognize them. They want their line manager to work with them as like a mentor and mentee, not like I'm a supervisor, you are the team manager. So as a leader these days, I would say dealing with Gen Z, you need to understand what are their needs, also as an organization, and how can we accommodate and personalize their needs to attract and retain these generation. Yes.
So because that will comes to the leadership, right?
Yes.
Leadership capability.
Yes.
So any recommendation or advice to the HR and business community that we should look at the specific leadership capabilities in the workforce,
yes.
To ensure the sustainable and the engagement.
Yes, yeah, that's very important because when we look at the data of people leaving the organization, right?